Yeah, it's probably one of the better Marvel movies.
Well, it's the first one.
Yeah, it's great because it's not full of jokes.
I mean, it's got Robert Downey Jr. in it, so he literally is sarcastically funny the entire time he talks.
But he's not trying to purposely force jokes down your throat throughout the whole movie. And Jeff Bridges really sets a solid baseline for, we're not fucking around. I'm pretty pissed off right now.
So you're making my argument or what? I don't know.
Making my argument that it's not just a big color blast of here's some bright lights and colors and here's some really poorly written jokes for you.
Jeez, man, you just really wanted to get right into it, huh? Well, I mean, as me and Mike were talking earlier, I mean, literally phase one. I mean, phase one is better than all of whatever you want to consider DC to be. I mean, and you could say that, I guess, like in the way that you're talking, this is how I explained it to Mike. It's because Marvel has to constantly they feel like they have to do more each time. So each movie needs to be escalated. And that's why these first few movies felt so good, is because they didn't feel like they needed to overdo what they've already done.
So you agree that these next installments, they're trying too hard?
These, I don't know in which ones you mean.
You can feel the shift in between this first Iron Man here,
right,
and what comes next,
which is Iron Man 2. And I feel like it was good too.
When they start incorporating, the new Hulk and they bring in the Avengers. I mean,
it's more and more characters, and that's what I mean, is it has to get escalated because there's more and more characters.
Just seems like there's a big mood shift where they could keep it, this kind of dynamic where, this is a pretty grim situation.
I don't know.
They're not making light of it.
We'd have to really look. I'm not 100% sure that when this movie came out, they had the plan to do the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I can't remember, but I don't know if they did or not. So that could be part of it, right? Is because they didn't even know that wasn't even the plan. The plan was to make maybe 1 or 2 Iron Men and call it a day. I mean, because if you look in the timeline order of how they were released, it went Iron Man, right? Mm-hmm. Iron Man 2, before they even came out with Captain America, First Avenger, and Thor. I want to say they did Iron Man and Iron Man 2. I could be wrong, I guess, too. I can't remember on the release dates of them because it was a while ago and many brain cells ago. But, I don't know that they had that plan. I think that once they shot the first, especially, this one, the Iron Man, Captain America, and Thor, they were like, damn, I mean, we do have this trifecta. I mean, we got it now.
Well, I mean,
everybody likes it, except for Chris Hemsworth's eyebrows.
The whole timeline was already set up and written for them. All they had to do was stay in between the lines.
That's not a good argument because that's every comic book movie. They all have a story already. They all have got a literal, like an entire house full of comics for each goddamn character. Yeah. Yeah, see? So, yeah, right there. It went Iron Man, Incredible Hulk, Iron Man 2, Thor, Captain America. So, and then the Incredible Hulk, that had a completely different character in it too. You know what I mean? As far as Edward Norton, that's Edward Norton's Incredible Hulk.
Yeah, but didn't Edward Norton come out years before this, before they started doing this step 1 to the Marvel Universe?
What do you mean? The Edward Norton movie?
Yeah, that's pretty much...
No,
Huh?
I think that Edward Norton, that was his only appearance as the Hulk.
It was.
Yeah, it wasn't before
but I think
this movie.
When they released the Edward Norton Incredible Hulk...
You're thinking of the David Bana Hulk.
So when I'm thinking of the Edward Norton one, it feels like, in my opinion, the best interpretation of the Hulk, and it was just like DC, a standalone movie where at the end of it there was no, I mean, yeah, he's gonna be the Hulk forever, but there was no real feeling of he needs to keep being the Hulk. The story's not done. It was just kind of start to finish standalone movie.
Well, right. That's what I'm saying is that I think that's why Phase 1 was so good, was because I don't know that in the shooting process and directing of the movie that they had decided we need to make this story last a billion years. You know what I mean? They were shot to be good and to stand alone on their own forever. That they weren't supposed to, have 25 more movies after that.
I mean, my plight with Marvel isn't that they did a whole universe and made the whole this past 15 years about it.
You just don't like gay characters.
I just don't like the writing and the portrayal
of gay characters.
And I don't read comic books, and it could be spot on with portrayals. It's probably why I hate Deadpool. But everyone says that's how he really is in the comic books from day one. He's just a sarcastic asshole, which I guess Ryan Reynolds 80% fits the bill for playing a sarcastic dick.
Well, I mean, in all actuality,
it's just hard to watch.
Right. I mean, the reason why he fit the bill was because he played the original Deadpool in the original X-Men movie. So that was why he was first in line, because he was everybody's favorite that's why people that watched that movie were like, yeah, we want Deadpool as Ryan Reynolds, Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool. Yeah.
Deadpool very much fits the bill of what wall is he breaking when he dresses the crowd?
The fourth wall.
Very much trying to shove jokes down the crowd's throat, because now he's talking to the crowd.
There are, I want to say, like a small handful of characters in comics that broke the fourth wall. That was the intended purpose, was they turned to the reader, and then the dialogue that came afterwards was him acknowledging you're reading a comic and that he is in the comic and he is talking to you, the reader. And it was just a character in a way to get more interactive.
You also need to realize that the Marvel we're talking about is Disney's Marvel. Deadpool has nothing to do with Disney. Everything that's been made, that was a Sony thing. So that your argument is really Disney's Marvel movies versus the DC.
Which I think that if you give just a little bit more time, I think Disney finally, because when these movies were shot, like the ones that you're complaining about, they were shot in a real odd time for the United States of America and really the world. Because, the ones that you hate the most, right, are the ones that were shot in 2018, 19, 20, maybe a little bit earlier, 2017, stuff like that.
You think they just gotta be careful of what they say?
They did, but I just mean because Disney was always like Disney. You know what I mean? Little kid, Disney. But now with Disney Plus and their new move and their acquisition of fucking, they own Hulu, they own ESPN. So they're kind of more, they had to do more of we also do adult stuff. So on the Disney app, you have to put in your date of birth now to unlock the adult version of Disney. So I think the movies that are getting maybe shot now, you'll start to see them get more adult.
You think these are growing pains for Disney?
Yeah, of course.
This is not our area of expertise, and this is our
acquired,
initial go at
they
it.
They acquired a company that was monstrous, that already had a following.
So the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, that was Sony.
Right.
And you could definitely feel the difference between Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield.
Well, right, because Sony goes, we don't give a fuck what anybody really says. We do whatever we want.
Right.
Right.
And Andrew Garfield, that's not the current Spider-Man.
No.
Because that Andrew Garfield
is
also Sony.
Right, Andrew Garfield is also
Tom
Sony,
Holland.
but it's Sony's second iteration of it. But that's only because Tobey Maguire said he was done. Because trust me, if Sony could have got Tobey Maguire to do another one, there would have been another.
How much they had to pay him to come back and appear?
It wasn't about. That's what I mean. Is Toby? I think Tobey Maguire said he was done.
Right. But you could definitely feel the difference between.
I mean, look at him in
Tobey
the airport.
Maguire
He was like,
and-
"Dude, I'm done." He's like, I still can't get on a plane."
I do not prefer the Tobey Maguire Spider-Mans. I never
did either. Me neither.
I like the Tom Holland ones. I do not like Sony's
Yeah.
Spider-Man.
I mean, I like Andrew Garfield. I thought they should have just kept it because he did a really good job. They had a great established story. He looks the part. It was more real. She broke her neck.
Okay,
that was awesome.
Here's a stupid question. In Spider-Man, what's the difference, or why do they between Mary Jane and Gwen Stacy?
What do you mean?
So in the Andrew Garfield, they have Gwen Stacy,
right?
And in
Tobey
the
Maguire is
others,
Mary Jane.
they have Mary Jane.
Mary Jane was a created character for, I'm pretty sure, that movie. I don't know. I'd have to look it up.
What Emma Stone plays Gwen Stacy
was always the character in the comic books.
So they got rid of Gwen Stacy with Sony and Tobey Maguire and brought in.
I've never been a huge Spider-Man fan, so that's always been vague to me, but I feel like Mary Jane was original to the movies or a different iteration of Spider-Man. You know what I mean? Because this is another one of those things where there's Spider-Man, and then there's the Amazing Spider-Man, and then there's whatever Spider-Man. I mean, there's all.
I guess
different.
What I'm asking is, both of these women don't exist in the same universe, correct?
Correct. Well, maybe. I don't know. Like I said, I'm not a huge Spider-Man fan, so I could be completely wrong.
Gwen Stacy came first.
Yeah, there we go.
Before Mary Jane.
When did Mary Jane show up?
My thing is, it's got to be one or the other. It's not both.
Yeah, but what happened is like I'm saying, it was probably because it was called, if I remember right, I think it was called The Amazing Spider-Man or something like that. The original comic like storyline was like The Amazing Spider-Man. And then it may be like when it jumped to finally like Spider-Man, you know what I mean? Marvel presents Spider-Man, like that's the fucking name of the comic, that maybe that's when it was created. I don't know.
So in the House of M comic book,
God, Kristen
shows that
is going to hate this part.
It shows that Peter Parker eventually chooses Gwen Stacy over Mary Jane, because that's always the battle in the comic is those are his two loves of his life, and he eventually chooses.
So they haven't even, if they will, even hit on that aspect where...
Probably not. It's probably a wasted effort. A
little deep, probably.
Yeah. There's no point.
Kirsten Dunst, that's who it is. I was drawing a blank on her.
That's another one. That's why that never appealed to me, because the only characters that appealed to me in those first three movies were all the villains.
But you also have to know Gwen Stacy dies.
Correct.
And then Peter Parker ends up marrying Mary Jane, but he's still...
This has to be a comic book, right? Much deeper down.
So there you go. See, like I said, I wasn't into it, but that makes more sense. So because that's what happens. The Amazing Spider-Man is he tries to catch her, and when he does catch her, he breaks her back, and she dies.
Is it the?
And then that would probably make more sense into maybe why even Tobey Maguire's character is a little bit more dark, is because that's post killing Gwen Stacy. Maybe
why he's so open to the.
Maybe. I mean, I know he gets the Spider-Man power, so it technically doesn't make sense, but maybe character-wise, he was like, no, Gwen Stacy's dead.
Are you referring to Venom?
Yeah.
Because those movies are fucking dog shit.
No. In the second Spider-Man where...
he's talking,
That's Venom,
Yeah.
Just a different symbiote, not ambient,
right.
Symbiote.
Yeah. Sad that the best version of Venom was shot fucking 15 years ago.
And it was
Eric Foreman. Got tired of getting that foot up his ass. So
Yeah.
I still think it's the first one, right, with Dr. Octopus.
Yep.
Yeah.
Still one of the best, I think, Marvel interpretation villains.
Dude,
Well, they brought him back.
They did.
Yeah.
And
When are you going to make an argument for DC?
I'm trying to find
You're
some.
making tons of arguments for Marvel. I think
I'm trying to get in your shoes.
No, I think you're a Marvel fan. That's what I think. And I think maybe that you are a disgruntled Marvel fan that now is taking out like, I hate Marvel. I hate Marvel because
Spider-Man is definitely
Thor's not a woman.
where I
This
want
bullshit.
to, where I would want to be if I were in the Marvel universe. My dad, enormous Spider-Man fan.
Right.
One day I can't wait because he's got a bunch of sealed shit upstairs, and God, I hope it's worth more than $5.
A
Because
bunch of what?
like sealed comics,
Sealed. Like in a tote or what?
like the comics themselves are sealed in
In
plastic.
CGC cases? Like in hard plastic cases?
I
or
haven't
what?
looked at it since I was like 10.
I'd go
But
take
he
'em.
bought them back in the 80s.
Take them.
And he's
They're
got
all
them
worth
all
money.
just in crates, just filed lined up.
Damn.
And I'm like, oof. One day, I'm gonna get my hands on those.
Yep.
But no, I think I
That was my dad. He'd wake up already and they'd been gone.
I liked Spider-Man, so if I were to find common ground with you, I can maybe talk a little bit about Spider-Man.
Yeah, I mean, you like Marvel.
I don't
'cause it's better.
care for Marvel.
That's better. And you like it more.
No, I don't.
You do. You like all the characters more.
No.
You've been sitting here. We've been talking about Marvel for probably like 15, 20 minutes. You got a smile on your face. I mean, listen, I'm with you.
Because I enjoy Sony
Here,
Spider-Man.
I'll make an argument for you, right? Because my favorite comic book movie that's ever been made of all time is The Watchmen. And that's DC.
Yeah.
And I don't know of anybody that would be able to argue that. I mean, it's rated R. So
It might be one of the first, correct me if I'm wrong, it might be one of the first rated R comic book movies.
probably. I can't remember if they released it both as PG-13 cut and that or not.
Did The Watchmen really get that much hype when it came out? Or make
No,
people
that was the
familiar
problem. Well,
with
that
The
was because
Watchmen?
there was no. I mean, it came out before Iron Man, right? Way before. So there was no like. It wasn't popular. That's why it was made the way that it was. It didn't have to appeal to kids. It was trying to appeal to comic book fans. So they were like, "Well, we're keeping this as close to the notes as possible." Dick swinging. I mean, that Dr. Manhattan.
He fucks.
The way that he fucks for
fucks.
sure, multiples. But the way that he explodes people is literally the best thing that has ever been shown on TV.
Yeah.
Like on a movie, as far as like a superpower that like that's exactly what someone with a superpower would do. Why would you waste your time doing like throwing people around? No, of course you just fucking and it would just be over with. It's great.
Right. No, I mean, biggest plight between why I prefer DC much more.
It's because you're a disturbed person. And
the
you
writing is so much better.
I think it's because you're a disturbed person and you
have
like
to admit the
dark
writing is
storyline.
better. The dialogue is
In
better.
which movie?
Watchmen came out in 2009.
Ooh,
So Iron
right
Man
at the
was
same time.
2008, and
Yeah.
Watchmen is not the first R-rated superhero movie.
No, yeah, I didn't think it was. What was though? I'm actually kind of
There's
curious.
like 17, and they're like, well, yeah, so it's not even close. Yeah, I mean,
They were from like early 90s and
Probably,
80s or some
yeah.
shit. Oh, yeah, so it doesn't matter. Yeah. They're not relevant.
And you did
they're
agree that DC animated series has
Not animated.
has that point.
No.
yes.
Well, I mean, what-
Batman,
Oh, like 90s cartoons? Oh, well, yeah, of course. I
Well,
mean,
then, even when I was a kid, like every morning you get up and you watch Teen Titans.
right.
Teen Titans,
yeah.
great
Yeah.
DC, and those are for
Right.
kids.
Right. Hey, if only.
I'm not saying if only. I'm just saying in that aspect,
Right.
they got that.
Yeah. I mean, the X-Men animated was great.
Good.
I mean, yeah, from the 90s
Yeah.
was, I mean, they were the same.
Right.
You know what I mean? It was basically, I mean, they
had
probably
that,
shot right across the fucking street from each other.
That black and red Spider-Man, or not black and red Batman, as a kid.
Yeah. Batman
Great.
Forever, or no, I can't, something like that. Maybe it was
It
Batman
was more
Forever.
like a teenage
Yeah.
Batman.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
DC has Marvel beat hands down in the
TV. Oh, yeah. On the TV side, DC fucking destroys Marvel.
And now their animated stuff they put out is just really dark and really just angry.
DC's worst move, even still to date, is not claiming any of the Arrowverse's characters as their own. They wasted. I mean, it's fucking stupid. I mean, they could still go back at any time and go, you know what? I know you guys just watched this Ezra Miller disaster. Let's bring back real characters.
Well, that's what I'm saying. They can do that now. They're not following any path, and I think a lot of people would agree that they enjoy not having to go back and watch two movies to understand, well, what's about to happen. It's been 3 years since I've watched the last installment.
I think what the real problem is for DC is now to claim any of that story as part of your universe, the characters are over with, though. I mean, you waited until the end, and you can't do nothing with these characters now. I mean, The Flash is on, its 9th fucking season?
I think it's its last season.
It's last season, but it's like season 9.
Yeah, but they can scrap that and start over.
No, but I mean, that character, though, you got to watch him become the Flash. So it was like that like awkward character phase where you're like, man, he just isn't doing a very good job at Flash. You don't have that moment because he's becoming Flash. So you're like, oh, well, that you don't know what he's supposed to act like anyway because he's becoming the character. Same as Green Arrow, same as any of them. You go through all the growing pains with them as a character, you know.
I think they could just scrap that and just start over.
See, Marvel was catching up through Netflix with Punisher, Daredevil. They were catching up with DC on the TV side. But
all of them were great. Yeah. I thought Luke Cage was great. Jessica Jones is great. Yeah, they did an awesome job with them.
Now there's talks that
they're going to bring them back.
Punisher characters.
Well, I saw that they're also bringing back Jessica Jones too because there ain't nobody that would be better than that. And then same with that guy that plays Luke Cage. Why wouldn't you bring back Luke Cage? He's a great character.
But that's where Disney is.
From Mortal Kombat?
Yeah, no.
Or is that two different
That's
Luke?
Johnny Cage. But
Johnny Cage.
Wow.
No, so it looks like Disney Plus is seeing that there is money to be made there.
And the adult side. They'll push it.
They're
right.
it. DC is not doing that when they should have. They should look
HBO Max is
like I
DC.
said, Disney made their shows. And they compared numbers, and they were like, fuck. Those Netflix shows beat our ass. The Defenders kick our ass. And that doesn't even make any sense because they were made with no budget at all. And then, so Disney's like, shit, I think we need to grab back that Charlie Cox. Or isn't that his name? I can't remember. The guy that plays...
Kelly.
No, the guy that plays Matt Murdock. I think his name's Charlie Cox.
I don't know the actor's name.
Netflix still probably gets double the viewers that HBO does just because you only have HBO for new released movies.
HBO?
Well, DC, you can...
HBO Max is almost exclusively DC.
Oh, okay. I didn't know where you went for a minute. Okay. I got you.
So, yeah, when Netflix releases all these Marvel, exclusives,
right.
Yeah, you're going to catch all these viewers because Netflix probably still beats out every other streaming service.
Well, Disney now has the rights to those Netflix shows.
Yeah.
It's now on Disney Plus.
Yeah, that's what I mean is that's why you have to put in your age when you're logging into Disney now because they want to know that you're an adult to open up the Defenders because Jessica Jones gets raped. I mean, there's all kinds of crazy shit that happens in those Netflix series.
Watch Daredevil and watch Punisher season 1. Watch Jessica Jones season 1. Those are very, very good.
Was the Ben Affleck Daredevil? That was Sony, right?
Yes.
Shit.
I didn't think it was that bad.
Well, that's.
But
you should go.
Affleck.
Have you watched?
Like Ben Affleck.
Have you watched any of the Daredevil?
And I'm a little partial to Jessica Gardner. So
have you watched the Netflix?
No.
One.
No.
You should. I mean, I'm telling you, if you watch don't watch the Defenders. Watch them as their own series first, and especially the first season of all 4. I think there's 4 or 5 actually.
What about Peacemaker with John Cena?
I think if you're going to ask me, it's DC's best thing that they've ever done.
But that's DC's attempt to be more like Marvel.
Correct.
I'm surprised that you liked it because there's a lot of humor in there.
That is my drawback on it.
I know.
But I do like how bold they are with it. Like, we'll show dick. We don't care.
But you need to watch Daredevil and Punisher and Jessica Jones because they're dark.
I told you.
There's no humor.
He's gay.
I'm gay.
You're gay. You just said your favorite part of...
No.
No, yes, you did. I wish we had an automatic
At
record.
no
We
point-
could go back. That you
at no
said that
point
your
did I say
favorite part
my
of that
favorite
was
part
they
of
should-
Peacemaker is
I like
seeing
how they
John
go for
Cena's
it. They
dick.
show dicks.
I said they're not.
My favorite thing.
They're not afraid to show dick.
Yep. I know exactly what
That's
you
why
said.
you like to watch me. You like big blue cock.
I told you the reason was the way he exploded people.
You're like, God, I want to be that chick in the yellow jumpsuit. I want you to fuck me.
These are all things coming out of your mouth, not mine. I'll still be your friend.
I'm sure you want to be more.
I don't. I think it's you. You've got the problem.
You can't quit me.
You guys are going to turn into the ambiguously gay duo.
Jesus. That was one of the greatest things of all time. So anyway, all your crap DC movies.
I still think they're all crap. I think even the bad ones aren't as bad as the worst thing that Marvel's put out.
What's the worst thing that Marvel has put out that you think is the worst? Because I'm curious.
I've looked up a list to see how the community, how Marvel fans feel about what's the worst thing that their favorite universe has put out. And I would agree universally, they all agree. Number one worst movie Marvel has put out is Thor Love and Thunder, which is a strong argument because, oh my God, it was just a mess. And you're just pandering to 80s adults now that, oh, I grew up with these characters and I love the soundtrack. But the writing was bad. The plot was bad. The dialogue,
Did you say that someone said it was the best movie?
No.
Or worst?
Yeah, number one
Oh.
rated worst movie
For Marvel
for Marvel.
was Love and Thunder?
Love and Thunder. And that's been pretty unanimous on a couple lists that's the worst thing. And that's not even that old. Like, they didn't have a lot of time to sit there and vote that one all the way up
right,
the list.
but that's another one of those, like I said, COVID movies. We'll call it COVID movies because it was shot during all of that crazy shit. And I don't know that it was that bad. To be 100% with you, I've watched some really
saving
bad
grace-
DC shit.
The saving grace is Christian Bale, surprisingly. And I don't know anything about this villain. I enjoyed Christian Bale's version of this villain. I like the black and white shooting they did whenever they would go, have to interact with him.
And
I
that
thought
wasn't
that was
him in particular. That was where he was located.
right. The whole interpretation of him. I mean, his backstory. Like I said, I don't know if he has a common, occurring role in comic books or where he came from.
Yeah. So, like, that goes for Marvel villains in general. They don't have a good way of keeping them around for a long time.
Well, this one
They all do.
he got killed. Well,
Most of them, most of the villains that, like, Marvel has in their comic books that go for, like, a very long period of time, they kill off, like, right away.
So then I went deeper into why they hate this movie so much. And when Thor is in front of this council of gods trying to, like, say, hey, we need a little bit of help here. And Russell Crowe playing Zeus just says, you know what? You're not invited to the orgy anymore. What the fuck? What kind of writing dialogue? I mean, you're pandering to kids, but then you got Russell Crowe up there saying, hey, you can't come to the fuck party anymore.
I think like I said, I think it was written during a really weird time. So I think that was part of a potential, like, to make the character and, like, that, like, belief maybe system to look stupid. To look like
But
what
you've
it
already gone this far.
Well, I mean, because if you read into, like, ancient Greek, that's what they did, right? They sat around and fucked a lot in, like, the big cities. And slaves did all the work, and the regular people just sat around and fucked and drank wine all
15
day.
movies into this pandering towards keeping it lighthearted and jokey.
Right.
And then you got Russell Crowe up there talking about, yeah, you ain't going to be fucking in this house anymore.
I mean, I thought that part was great. I thought it was funnier than hell.
No, it's not what I want in a movie.
What do you want?
I want
dicks. I know exactly what you want, and I thought that's what you got. I mean, they showed you Chris Hemsworth naked. What more did you want? I know exactly what you want.
I
You
want
literally just said it.
A medium amount of dicks.
Yeah, a medium amount of dicks. Right. That's all Marvel is missing is just show dicks.
Prove that the orgy
Skylar
is
will
real.
Like it.
You're the George R.R. Martin.
They're coming. They're coming.
Jesus.
He never brings them.
I bet you love Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones is your favorite thing to watch on TV. You're like, there's dicks everywhere.
It's like 2 episodes of it.
You watched, well, you need to go further. It'd be your favorite TV show. There's dicks everywhere. You'll love it. Treating women like shit and dicks everywhere.
No, I don't want constant joking every 30 seconds. I want well-written dialogue. I want there to be a serious backbone in the movie.
I think your argument, though, is for the later half of what you don't like is the later half of these Marvel movies. The best of the Marvel movies are the first 2, I don't know, stages.
Like I said, he sounds more like a disgruntled Marvel fan.
No, because I'm admitting that
isn't.
I like what Sony has put out.
That's what I'm saying. I feel like you're more of a disgruntled Marvel fan that you just don't like the direction it went.
Here's a list of all the Marvel movies that have come out. You pick, say the ones that you don't like on this list.
Yeah. I'm curious. But which ones? Because I'm sure you're going to have to move it to get to the ones that you don't like. Because there isn't going to be any in that first list of 10? The first 10 are bangers.
And these are broken up in the phases that they intended.
Yeah.
So.
And I don't even know that Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is on there, but good God, the first couple seasons
Hulk,
of that was
Edward
the shit.
Norton?
That's Edward
Yep.
Norton.
Okay, so that's fine.
Right. That's what I mean. So you had to scroll. You have to get into Iron Man 2, which is decent.
I don't not like Guardians. Guardians is okay.
First Guardians movie? Or all?
Yeah, which one?
There's 2 or 3. There's for sure
There's
2.
3. Well, 3 is coming out.
So 3 is coming out.
Yeah.
There are 2 then.
1 is good. Not high on the second
1 is with
2.
Ronan.
Right. Like that villain a lot. Another just pissed off character.
Right.
That's why I named my son Ronan.
Is literally one of the greatest characters that
I thought it
Marvel's
was
ever
after
done on
Keanu
screen.
Reeves.
Yeah.
Ronan 47.
Yeah.
I want to be a samurai. The second 2, I feel like they more incorporated that AC/DC soundtrack.
Right. So I mean, you like Phase 1 and 2. Phase 1 and 2. You're into Phase 3 already with the movies in front of you.
On the Captain America movies.
That's weird that you don't like the first one.
The first one, I do not like Winter Soldier, which, by the way, a lot of people think is one of top 3 all-time Marvel movies, besides Black Panther and whatever else.
It's weird that you don't like Captain America First Avenger, because if I have to go back, like if I sit here and I go,
Do you know?
What movie am I going to pick? What?
Nothing. Damn it.
Well,
Fuck. Do I want that?
Go ahead.
Shit. Fuck.
You can always cut it out.
What?
I'll think about it. Don't like Ant-Man, any of them.
Well, I'm
Paul
with you.
Rudd is not... I don't read the comics. I don't know. Is Ant-Man, is he supposed to have the demeanor of a Deadpool where you're just kind of joking?
Well,
See, that I don't know, and that's what bugged me too.
Paul
The
Rudd
difference is that
is
the majority of the Ant-Man
He's a comic actor.
that you see in the comics is Hank Pym. It's not Scott Lang. It's Hank Pym. Hank Pym is Ant-Man. Scott Lang plays the new Ant-Man after Hank Pym gets older, just like they do in the movies. But Ant-Man is Hank Pym. That's who has the Ant-Man suit. That's who invented the particle. That's who travels back and forth. That's who it is.
I do.
So do you like Hank Pym's character? Like anytime that he's on screen, do you like him?
Yeah.
Okay, well, he's Ant-Man, technically.
Right.
Right.
Then you get Paul Rudd, and then you get
Scott Lang
then you get
sucks.
the Wasp, and it's like,
Right, I'm with you.
God. I like Doctor Strange.
Okay.
I like Benedict Cumberbatch
So you-
as an actor.
Can we just fast forward to the end? You like Marvel.
No.
Yeah, you do.
Nope.
Dude, you have barely said one movie on
My
this
number
list.
one rated awful
Okay.
is in phase 3 is Thor Ragnarok.
I really
Man.
like Thor Ragnarok.
That's weird.
I
Yeah,
hate
I
it.
don't know.
That's where you see Hulk on that planet, and he's being held captive as just a warrior. But he's pretty much embraced being just this kind of like
right.
fuck it.
Held captive is a strange word when referring to the Hulk. Just because,
or if he's not, he's just kind of settled into.
right,
I'm
okay,
just going to be this big green guy that
right.
fucks. And
he's not
shit,
being
dude.
held captive. He chose to leave and to exile himself, and he found a place where he could just fuck people up all the time, and people would love it. So he decided to stay there.
Didn't much care for is it Jeff Goldblum.
What? That's the best Grandmaster that they could have picked.
Nah, I just the whole thing.
Yeah, a disgruntled Marvel fan that
didn't
just,
like it.
That's a little uncomfortable with women
I
empowerment and gay people.
I liked the villain. I liked Thor's sister. I liked the wolf. Can't remember what in mythology what the wolf.
Fenrir.
Fenrir.
I think Fenrir's the wolf. Yes.
Love that. I love that. Bringing that back because,
Yeah.
I mean, I like that, but it's just everything before, in between, around it. It's just a big old joke fest. It doesn't have to be funny.
But the comic books appealed to kids, so there was always humor in it. I mean, I could pull out. I mean, I've got a whole. I mean, I'm just like your dad, and I don't have as many, but I could pull out cases of comics. You go flip through them. There's joke after joke after joke constantly.
So for me, what I think is that Disney writers got themselves stuck in a hole because a lot of that same formula is implemented in all of Phase 3. Phase 1 and 2,
Phase
pretty
4
much good.
and Phase
3,
4 got dark.
yeah.
Phase 4, they were like, we know what we really need to do here.
Here's the biggie.
Go.
I don't like Black Panther.
Okay. Like,
Anything about it. The writing, his character. When they put this out, they had an agenda outside of the movie.
I don't know. I think what the problem is that you think you give them way too much credit for being like, I guess, I don't know, nicer. See, in my personal opinion, they would write the movie and they would put that out because there was already something going on and they were like, let's pander. So your argument could be more to pandering
That is what he's
than
made.
right.
Yeah.
We'll use better. Hey, like I tell you all the time, right? Use better words.
What's wrong between agenda and pandering? They had
They're
an
two
agenda.
different. No, there's two different things.
That was their agenda,
An
was to
agenda.
pander.
No, an agenda implies that the movie
Their
is
agenda
trying.
said
hang on.
pander.
The movie is trying to make you think a certain way. That's not what the movie did. The movie pandered to people already thinking a certain way. It had nothing to do. It wasn't trying to make anybody feel a certain way. They were like, oh well, race is super hot topic right now. Let's fucking put it out there. Even though I just don't think that. I don't think it was made for the purpose of what most people feel like that movie was made for. I feel like if anything, they should feel offended more than they should like it. They should feel offended for being pandered to.
Correct.
During a very emotional time.
Plus, they should be offended that it took this long to make the movie and that this movie was brought out at the height
Right.
of all the problems.
They would rather have done well at a time where things weren't so bad,
Yes.
where on its own, yeah, we got represented properly and people loved the movie.
Right.
Yes.
Not waiting till now. It's like, all right, here you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What happened?
Like I said, that's why I was disagreeing with you at first because you kept saying agenda, and that I mean,
trying to
it's definitely not what
Dance
happened.
around.
They pandered to people, and that's like when I get mad. I don't like. Nobody likes being fucking pandered to. You shouldn't. Because you're just getting shit out of like pity.
You just want it on
like
its-
people are just
on its
like,
own
oh,
merit.
well, here you go. You shouldn't. That's not how you should want things. I mean, I don't dislike the movie that much. Myself, I don't. I mean, that's what it. I mean, I don't know. That's what I mean. All of the black. I like all of it.
Chadwick
Black
Boseman
Panther.
played a good. I mean, he was good.
He's great. Plays a great role. All the people that they chose to do the characters did a great job.
So I mean, I don't. Yeah. So in that line, Black
Yeah.
Panther, another one.
You just don't like
not-
because you felt like it was a pandering movie rather than like a movie that I don't know. I mean, the shitty thing is that it should have came out way before it did.
Right.
Because Black Panther is a more influential character in Marvel than to like I said, to be pandered out at a emotional time.
So since Chadwick Boseman is now deceased,
Yeah.
does Black Panther in the comics, does he die, or because
Black
himself,
Panther doesn't live forever.
It's handed down.
It is right. It is a tradition. So Black Panther is just the
Wait,
leader.
did they kill? Did I miss the part where they killed him off, or how did that?
At the beginning of the newest one? Have you watched it?
I'm not.
What's the newest one?
I didn't watch it.
Wakanda Forever.
Oh no.
Yeah. So then I'd watch it, and you'd know. But they do it very respectfully. They do it. The crazy thing is that I actually liked it a lot how they did it because they give him like how he was as a person. Like, you know how he didn't tell anybody that he
Right.
had anything wrong with him? So they kind of did that for the story. Like where like he was too proud. Because in the story, you know, at the end of the last Black Panther, how what's his nut? Michael B. Jordan's character fucking torches all the Black Panther stuff.
Yeah.
So he no longer has his Black Panther serum, you know, and that's like the equivalent to America's Captain America serum, their super soldier serum. It's pretty much, they're like equivalents. You know what I mean? Like that's the power that they give. He didn't tell anybody he was sick in the movie. That's how they played out the first like 10 minutes of this is he's already dying. He's already in like an operating room and his sister's like trying to figure out a way to save him without trying to figure out a way to recreate the plant to give him the plant so he'll live. But she can't do it. She's like sitting there trying all these different combinations. It doesn't fucking work. And then the mom comes out and she's like, he's dead. He's done.
So now there can never be another Black Panther now.
No, the Black Panther is handed down. It is whoever is the leader of Wakanda is Black Panther. So at the beginning of this new movie, there isn't a Black Panther because he dies. And his sister, Siri, I think is her name, Suri, she goes, I don't want to. So then the movie is basically her deciding to become Black Panther.
So the suit is what gives him.
No, the plant is
But you
the
said
suit.
she can't recreate the plant, so how is there going to be another one?
Well, I guess you'd have to watch the movie, right? Right. So we'd watch the movie, and then we'll know. We'll know if we watch it. It's kind of like when we were talking about Star
like
Wars
3
stuff.
hours long.
Right. Hey, watch the movie.
The only 3-hour movie we're sitting down and watching is Batman vs. Superman.
I thought Wakanda Forever was really good. They did a very good job at introducing these future characters because they've killed. I mean, that's the problem is all these movies started 15, 20 years ago, dude. They can't have these guys play. I mean, you want to see Tony Stark as an 80-year-old man?
Well, you can now with the face.
Well, right, but I mean, you see how trash that is. I mean, it's not good.
Well, they're
yet.
bringing Michael Keaton back to be Batman.
Right, but they're having him play an old version.
And he's wearing a mask most of the time.
Right.
Why can't they bring back an old version of, some of these past guys? Like, hey, I just wasn't ready to hang it up. I'm
Well,
going to keep
in my
doing it when I'm
personal
old.
opinion, I think that's where you're gonna see Tony Stark again. I think you're gonna see Robert Downey Jr. as Tony Stark again.
Oh God, they're going to do a.
Well, because they're doing it. There's a multiverse. There's multiple versions of every single character, infinite iterations of them. Like you saw in Doctor Strange, like you haven't seen yet. I haven't watched it either, but I watched the clips that they kind of post online. If you see the Council of Kangs is a great representation of every single character in Marvel, and DC does the exact same thing. Both of them have equal storylines. They're fucking exactly the same in the comics. Like vice versa, DC tends to be on a little bit more of the dark side in comics. Like when you read the storylines and shit, they tended to be a little bit more darker rather than Marvel. But when you go in the universe wise, there's equal characters on both sides.
This is where Marvel is going to lose everybody, because they're going to start going into these multiverses, and you're going to have to watch all these other old movies in order to kind of catch up and see where they're at. I think that's where Marvel's going to lose a lot of their people.
Well, either that or they'll gain a lot of people by being able to bring back old characters that they killed off. They had to. They made the story great.
Well, that was my point about DC, is that you don't have to go back and watch shit. You can just hop right into this newest movie that they're going to put out, and you're not missing anything because it starts from a brand new story.
Yeah, but that's right. But that hurts them because they don't have a universe.
No, it doesn't, because you can walk in anytime with anybody and sit down and know what's going on.
I don't know if that's true.
But I think that's false, because that was, I think, the appeal at first for these Disney Marvel movies is it's like watching a season of a show. You're watching the next season. It just happens to be with a different character and how they all come together. I think the way culture is now, DC has a better chance of using these just one-off movies, because I think it's going to get way too confusing for when Marvel splits off.
I mean, fuck, I'm already confused what's going on with Marvel. Like, everyone's like, well, you got to watch Loki. Well, why? I mean, besides just wanting to see Loki more, like,
no.
What does he represent with everything?
Okay. So, the way Marvel has done everything from when they decided to do a universe is things have to be, if you want to follow along, you have to watch them as they're released, including the TV series.
It's my point is that...
hang on. So your argument is that you just don't want to keep watching them?
I don't want to have to.
Well, I mean, you don't have to.
Kind of like your Star Wars thing, where if I were to watch just all the movies, it's really not going to work out 100%, because I have to stop and watch a TV show and then go on to the next movie.
Well, but that's how they were released, though.
But not everyone wants to do that.
Okay.
So that's my point. I can just pick up a DC movie, pop it in, enjoy it.
Right, but you could do that for Marvel, too. I mean, you don't have...
Not so much.
Yeah. What movie do you feel
really?
like...
So if you pop in any of the Endgame movies, you're like, oh, I guess...
I like how you say any of the Endgame movies. Endgame was one movie. It was one movie.
Infinity War, there you go.
Well, if you popped in Infinity War, yeah, you don't need to watch anything. You don't need to really watch anything. It starts with Thanos killing fucking Loki and beating the shit out of Thor on a spaceship full of their people. You don't have to. You could just go, oh.
So if you threw
they're clearly out in space doing something.
If you threw in Endgame, you'd be like, oh, they're just mad at each other. They want to fight each other.
Endgame clearly says part 2. It's part 2. So that's not a good argument. That's like fucking watching any part 2 and going, I don't know what's going on. Well, no shit, dumbass. You put in part 2 first.
You said any movie, any of them. Which one can you not do?
You know.
Well, there you go.
Jesus Christ. If you want more information at what's going on in the movies, yeah, watch the TV shows. Yeah. So if you want to be introduced to the first time you've ever seen a variant of Kang the Conqueror, which is the newest villain of all of this phase, and maybe the next one, it's hard to say. He just got arrested for assault. It was just another variant. That's what they're saying on Twitter. But he really did. The guy that plays him.
Right.
Yeah. So you get to meet the first version of him in Loki. You get to see, and then when you meet him, that version of him explains the character to you. So if you really want to know who Kang the Conqueror is, watch Loki. If you don't care and you want to wait until I imagine he explains himself in Ant-Man Quantumania too.
Heard that movie fucking sucked.
Yeah, I know. Your mom did. Wow. God. Now I'm just not going to watch it because the Piper family doesn't fucking like Marvel.
So if DC tries to adapt what Marvel did before, being a DC fan, are you going to be turned off by
Well, he will because that's why he hasn't watched any of the TV shows and he wouldn't like them.
Because letting you know, that's what they tried to do with Batman v Superman. And
You said it was your favorite movie. You said it was your favorite movie, and it couldn't have been copied harder from a Marvel movie.
And they absolutely failed, and that's why there's no more Ben Affleck. There's no.
It
more
imploded.
Cavill.
It imploded.
I wouldn't say it failed at all. Like
What do you mean
personally, I don't feel like they
Warner Brothers
should not have
just
done
announced that they scrapped everything.
I'm saying I don't feel like that's not how they should have done it. Like, that was wrong. That's not how I feel. I feel like they set up Batman vs. Superman. Fantastic movie. I thought Justice League, there was a lot going on.
Zack Snyder's Justice League, while long, because you didn't get to watch like what he would have, you know, how he would have cut it apart. You just got to see a director's cut. Was great.
Yes, there's a lot going on.
Right.
And
that's another movie where you're like, well, I don't know. Like, you can't pop in Justice League and understand what the fuck is going on. At all. At all.
I think you could.
No, you fucking can't.
You know what the Justice League is.
No, you don't.
Here's their
How?
objective.
How do you know what the Justice League is? You've never watched it before.
It's a league for justice.
Oh.
Does that make it simpler?
Oh, thanks. I had no idea what the two
Switch
words
the words
meant.
around, and there you go.
Ah, shit.
Ah!
Damn. Thanks, man. Fuck.
So do you like Batman vs. Superman? That movie alone?
I am a comic book fan.
So you loved it.
I really don't dislike any of them. I don't. Because my brain goes back to reading them. When you read them, there are so many different versions of the character. I feel like the people that are in their 30s and 40s that complain about anything Marvel, they apparently weren't ever really comic book fans. Because there's different iterations of the character all the time.
Well, I could be wrong. It feels like with DC, each movie, it's spaced out a little farther. Whereas Marvel, it's like, goddamn, every 6 months I'm getting some new shit popping up. I'm like...
That's also where we're coming into a lot of superhero fatigue.
Right.
Yeah. I feel like that's definitely what it is.
And Disney is the reason for that fatigue because there's a movie every 3 months.
Well, there's a movie or a TV show, but that's because what they're trying to they built. That's what they were trying to do, though. That's what they wanted in the end, was to create a universe in which you could just perpetually make TV show after movie, and it will constantly follow this really long story, which, dude, the way that they've done it, in my personal opinion, is brilliant. It's fucking They set up Thanos from, like, after they figured out that they were going to create a universe, they were like, man, we got to set up Thanos. Did it perfect. He was like lingering in the background. You only ever wanted to watch another Marvel movie just to see if he would be a cameo, if you'd get to fucking see one more time him just turn at the camera and say 2 words.
So you're not worn out at all on this?
I'm a huge comic book fan.
So
I've got comic books in my bedroom, dude.
Is God forbid you take 3 months off?
I don't need to.
Not like a casual, I like superheroes.
I hate that if you ask me, I wish that Marvel would just scrap movie theaters altogether. I'm tired of waiting. I want them to just perpetually put shit out on Disney Plus, charge me $50 a month.
Well,
it wouldn't matter to me.
That's where I think the casual fan like me, I enjoy DC's pace.
Okay.
Where it's like, here's a movie.
Yeah.
And you can kind of...
I'm a comic book fan, so as like a kid, I just want another comic book. Give me more story. Give me more. Just keep going. I don't need to stop.
But I mean, like, the light universe they set up with Superman, where it's Man of Steel. You get his introduction and his origin story. You kind of see his mental battle with himself about why he's here and should he be doing any of this.
Right.
Then it jumps into Batman versus Superman. There's enough gap in there where it's slow paced. You get that great movie, 2 iconic characters, and then now they're slowly working into a Justice League. I just think it's a great pace. It's slower.
Yeah.
I think the dialogue is better.
The only problem is that they had a couple characters in Justice League that they really shitted really bad. Like I feel like their version of Aquaman, people only like Aquaman because they like seeing that guy without his shirt on. He ain't that great of an actor. I'm really tired of hearing how great of an actor that guy. He's not that great. He looks good. I give him props. Goddamn. One of the best looking guys from Iowa. Okay? I mean, him without a beard is shockingly unattractive, but we'll go with it, right? And then you've got who's Wonder Woman, whilst, yet again, a very gorgeous person.
Oof.
Terrible Wonder Woman.
What?
Terrible Wonder Woman.
No.
Yeah.
Even her origin movie, which was a great standalone movie.
What?
Good movie.
Oh my. Wow.
What?
It was a good movie.
Wonder Woman was a good movie.
It was okay.
84.
Thank God Chris Pine was in it.
Chris Pine, yeah. Good for him.
Without Chris Pine,
No. So, I mean, in comparison to Avengers, there's not that many characters in the Justice League. Well, there's 4 or 5? You got 12 in Avengers.
Right, but that just goes back to in the comics, there's way more in Justice League, too.
Well, this is where they can slowly just pluck one, put them in. Pluck one, put them in. They can do the Marvel thing if they want.
Right. Oh, no, they could.
If they want.
They've got all of them. They've got great characters.
Right.
That they could definitely pull endless amounts from.
Before I forget, when was the last time you've seen Batman vs. Superman?
Not that long ago.
So,
I would say within the last couple of years. Yeah.
So Jeremy Irons, who plays Alfred, is now talking about how the world's changed because now we have all these metahumans and we have gods that are now that they're aware that are throwing lightning bolts down.
Okay.
Is he referring to Thor?
No.
Who's he referring to that throws lightning bolts?
Oh.
So he makes that reference, and I'm like, am I not thinking deep enough where they're aware of the Marvel universe, or is there a character that I'm completely looking over where, again, Jeremy Irons is saying we have gods that are throwing lightning bolts down? Is that a metaphor, or is he literally talking about somebody?
No, he would be talking about in reference to because they did it in.
There's no crossover, is there?
In Wonder Woman. No, well, yeah, I mean, yes.
A Marvel.
There's all kinds of DC Marvel in the actual comics. You ain't ever gonna fucking see that in this world. Then that ain't gonna fucking happen.
Are they referring to Captain Marvel?
No, I think they're probably in. That's what I was just about to get to, because they already had a god in. They had Ares, so I'd imagine that they're talking about what, not Zeus. What am I? Equivalent. Is it Zeus?
Black Lightning is another one.
No,
Zeus does throw lightning bolts.
Who's the equivalent? Who's the Roman equivalent to Zeus? Because Zeus is Greek. I can't think of it for some reason.
But that threw me off on this.
That would be who they're talking about. Because they've already introduced Ares.
Right.
So there's gods. Because Jupiter. So it would be, you're going to see those types of characters because that's what DC did.
Right.
Those are the DC gods. And then actually, if you went in and looked at it, what they call the gods and new gods is where you start to learn about Darkseid.
Wouldn't that be fun if that was just a little Easter egg that you really had to pick up on that
they were going to do? No, they had all these movies planned. That's what they were going to do. They had all these movies planned. And then WB scrapped them all because WB can't ever have anything good.
So Mercury is a Roman god in DC.
Yeah.
And he's the Roman god of New Earth.
So you'll see. I mean, they had gods versus new gods. I thought they had a plan for the movie New Gods where they were going to show you basically like it would have been like the Thanos origin story. New Gods would have been the dark side origin story. So like how they did Eternals, which it was more like that. That's what they would have done for Dark Sides because it's the same type of like those are the same characters.
Because I mean, it can't be Black Adam or any of the Shazam characters.
It could have been. Why not? It very well could have been. They could have been talking about timeline. They could have been talking about Merlin or any of those because those. Thank Christ that Shazam still is out. It's the best thing that DC's got. Sorry, DC fans. The best thing you got Shazam right now. You better hold on fucking tight.
You like Shazam?
I fucking like Shazam.
But you did not like Black Adam.
I didn't not like...
It's not as bad as people say
It's not as bad as people say, but I felt like it was a little much.
I really enjoyed the, I can't recall what his character name is, the older guy who plays the wizard with the gold helmet.
He's James Bond. And
oh, yeah, Pierce Brosnan?
There it is.
Yeah, who's his character?
Dr. Fate?
Yeah. I mean, I've seen him before
Dr. Fate's a great character.
Games and...
Yeah, that's what I mean. People have been talking shit. The best thing is that listen, DC, hold on tight to Shazam and Black Adam. It's all you fucking got. It's all you got.
What's your opinion on the new Flash after seeing the trailer?
I think I feel like they shot it at a time when they knew that the darkness of Justice League was hitting home, and they have Ezra Miller, and I don't see how you have a lighthearted Ezra Miller. So I think it's definitely going to probably be one of DC's better things that they've probably put out.
So it's got your blood pumping. You're excited for it?
I don't know. I don't get blood pumped for DC because they usually fuck up everything.
I mean, I'll be lying if I didn't say when they put the trailer out for all the Spider-Man's coming back. I mean, how they presented the guy who played Doc Ock coming back, and you see that big arm coming through, and he's like, says, hello, Peter, and that's like, oh fuck, because that's when you were a kid. You're like, I mean, that's your shit.
I know. Well, I'm just glad that we can go full circle, and that what we've learned today.
Actually watch the movie, you're like, yeah, fuck, I should have known better.
Fuck
you for fooling me.
What we've learned today is that Skylar is actually a Marvel fan that's disgruntled at the storyline that they've chose to go down.
I like Sony Marvel.
I feel like if you watched Loki, you might get back into it. Well,
no.
Loki's pretty dark, so I don't know why you wouldn't. It's a really dark show. I mean, it is an adult show. It's not kids. There's little to no joking. That's why they had to bring in Owen Wilson, because it was going to be the only humor of the entire show.
I like Sony Marvel. After that, pass.
You're a liar.
If I never saw him, if I never knew they existed and watched them, I'd be fine.
You're a liar, bro. You like Marvel.
There's nothing I've watched of DC that I hate. There are things that I've watched of Marvel I hate.
So you're going to... Suicide Squad. You're going to defend both movies.
I'm not going to defend them hard.
The best thing...
Okay.
Wow.
They are worse than God of Thunder. Both. The second one even more so.
God of Thunder.
Love
and Thunder.
Love and Thunder, sorry.
Yeah.
I don't know how the hell you can stand up for that. Birds of Prey.
The first Suicide Squad is definitely not worse than the worst Marvel movie. Just because, I don't know why I was so into the Jared Leto Joker.
I don't get why anybody...
I think he was just a very interesting interpretation where it's like, this, if they carry with this, do
I feel like what people liked was that he was just a gangster. As a gangster version.
Right, there was no extra thinking to it. He just was a guy who didn't give a fuck and played mind games with his chick.
So you don't mind Harley Quinn?
Yeah, Harley Corn. Harley Corny. Yeah, goddamn.
She is awful.
So I'm trying to do better about understanding characters where, like Deadpool, I get that that's how they are. And I get that I'm guessing Harley Quinn is that way in comics.
She was made into crazy.
She was actually brought in the Batman animated series. She was never a character until like 1990.
Right.
So she's relatively new in that aspect.
Yes, she is not my cup of tea, but I'm trying to understand that you can't rewrite her drastically.
Well, you can, because she's not a real comic book character with a real comic book origin that spans back 40 years like all the other ones.
Her origin is that she was the Joker.
She was psychiatrist.
She was the Joker's psychiatrist
yes.
at Arkham Asylum.
Right, so you have to wait all the way until Joker gets arrested and put in Arkham Asylum before you'd ever be able to bring her into the movies.
Which then again, DC really needs to do a cinematic universe of the Arkham Asylum video game series. Arkham Asylum, Arkham City, and...
They just need to commit to a fucking universe. They have to commit to a storyline that spans multiples of movies. You can't just keep going down the same path of let's just keep making a Batman origin story. I'm tired of fucking watching it. I'm tired of it. I'm fucking tired of watching Batman's origin story. I know how he fucking became Batman. I know. I've fucking seen it 5 times now.
I've enjoyed watching 3 different Jokers, and now there's going to be a 4th one with the Robert Pattinson installation.
I don't. I do not enjoy watching multiple iterations of the exact same movie.
Heath Ledger, great Joker.
It's all the same, though. I hate it.
Joaquin Phoenix.
Terrible.
I liked the Joker.
Jesus Christ. The Joker...
It's because...
Hang on. How much sense does it make to make the Joker... Let's call him the Joker, right? How much sense does it make to make him a 50-year-old man and the Batman is a child?
It's just a different interpretation.
How much fuck... In what world does the Joker exist as a 60-year-old man and Batman is... What?
It's just
of course Batman's going to kick his ass. He's fucking
nice
elderly.
Because it's purely just a standalone. It's never going to be anything more, anything less.
Nope.
So you think with this second Joker movie that's coming out,
it's going to be even worse.
We're not going to see or hear a reference to Batman.
If Joaquin Phoenix is still playing the Joker in this new movie, you can't have Batman. You can't.
Well, how's that going to work with Robert Pattinson?
That's what I say, dude. Woo! I'm glad we got here.
Unless I haven't read enough on the internet, Joaquin Phoenix isn't going to be this new Joker, is he?
Yes. I'm pretty... How could you not?
It would be weird that...
How would that...
It'd be weird to have him just be the Joker and then not ever reference or bring up Batman.
100%.
Makes no sense
whatsoever. But how can you?
And right now, DC's Batman is Robert Pattinson.
And you can't bring him into it because you've already shown that Batman is this little kid. He's fucking 12 years old in the Joker.
So you're fine. So that's the other thing. If Batman's not involved, I really don't care to see the Joker.
Would it work if they did a really big time jump? Not big, like 10 years.
Then the Joker is now...
He'd be an old Joker.
Man.
He'd be an old Joker.
Correct. And I don't understand.
Which could work.
But why would this old Joker... Because in this timeline, doesn't he still think that he's Batman's brother? Right?
I don't know. I'd have to rewatch it.
Yeah, that was the big revelation that
he thought for a second that he was Batman's brother.
Right.
And then he finds out that his mom's just fucking crazy.
Right.
So then he's torn between the reality of is his mom crazy or is she not? Because Bruce Wayne's dad, why can't I think of his fucking name? Tom.
Marlon.
No, is it Thomas Wayne? Thomas Wayne. Right. So Thomas Wayne, because he's a super famous, powerful dude, he could have all of those things wiped. So Joker could be in that storyline still Batman's brother, but still, I mean, yeah, you'd have to fast forward 10 years. Mm-hmm. And now Joaquin Phoenix is playing a 65-year-old fucking Joker.
That's plausible.
I don't know.
Could work.
I don't like it.
That's even the beauty part about the Joker.
I think the best...
You have no idea how old he is.
Right, so he could be 65.
You know what the best part...
Hey,
you know what the best part about the Joker, the new movie The Joker is? Brian Callen.
The fuck's Brian Callen?
Oh, God, he'll hate that. He's just a stand-up comic.
He doesn't know who the fuck Brian Callen is.
He's a stand-up comic. He's also an actor. He was in...
I mean, how could you not,
he was in there for like 10 seconds.
How could you not like the scene where he's sitting there with Robert De Niro in front of this live cast, sitting there pretty much saying how fucked society is, and ends up blasting Robert De Niro in the face? That's great.
It's great. And then they ruined it by bringing Batman into it as a 12-year-old.
Again, it's fun because
they could have just had Batman be an older guy.
I
could have
think
just been another person already.
They could have done this Joker movie without even referencing Batman.
They could have. They should have.
They didn't. And that's where they fucked themselves.
See, what I like is instead of having a 15-movie universe, you just keep having these 3-movie universes and then start it over. Do it black, red, purple, green, blue, whatever. Just keep redoing it.
Nope, I don't like it.
It keeps it simple. It doesn't muddy it up. You can have good writing. You can have great characters. Instead of Marvel, you're like, God, I'm worn out. The dialogue sucks. You can tell the writers are out of ideas. What the fuck?
Well, they're not. They weren't. See, the problem is that you keep saying the writers are out of ideas. And I don't think
they have a script, but they got to color between the lines. So
okay, so that's what I'm saying. So the movies that you don't like, we've boiled down that you like the first fucking 10 of them. You like the first 10 movies, and then you start to get into a very tumultuous time where they had to write in certain parameters. You don't like those movies. I really do think that if you watched Loki, you'd like it. Because with the Loki character that you get in the Loki TV series is right when you potentially stopped liking Marvel.
I mean,
you won't watch Loki because you feel you have to go back and watch other shit beforehand.
And
I don't know where it's at in the timeline.
Okay. So
I just told you.
Punisher, Daredevil, you need to know nothing. Watch it, you'll know. You want zero backstory. That's, as a fan of these movies, you don't want to have to go look for anything.
Yeah, don't make me watch 2 movies and we
Loki,
put this out on the streaming service, so if you want to go back, this will kind of fill those.
The Loki character that you follow along with is the one that gets captured at the end of Avengers. No. Is the one that they capture at the end of Avengers is before Dark World. This character that you follow is the one that they capture in New York with the Time Stone or with the Mind Stone. Original Avengers against Loki. That's the Loki that you follow.
Where Hulk grabs him and then beats the shit out of him.
That Loki right there is the one that you see in the TV series. He hasn't lived any of the other Loki experience. So the Loki that you get is the original one that everyone likes. A little bit darker. Not as funny. Hasn't grown up. Hasn't moved on to like Thor yet. He's kind of touched when he learns that him and his brother made up. But the one that you are seeing and following along with has not made up with Thor. None of it. Was still set on taking over Earth.
I think my favorite Marvel movie, which will explain why I'm into DC so much, is Logan.
Right.
Logan, great story.
Yeah.
Not funny at all.
It's a great movie, and we can beat a dead horse. You like Marvel.
No.
I'm glad we got there.
Logan has the feel of a DC movie. Very dark. Things are not going to get any better as far as what's going on in the story.
Right.
I mean, no one's fucking laughing.
So you like your superhero movies to have zero comedy. You want it to be an action-packed thriller all the time.
Yes, I want it to be.
I feel like you
want
should
it to be sad and dark and lots of killing.
Then just watch John Wick.
I love John Wick.
Okay, then don't worry about watching Marvel movies.
I try
Don't
not
watch
to.
any comic book.
I only watch them to stay relevant.
Every comic book, because it's based off of a comic, which were all cartoons that were super popular, they're all like child stuff. Not really, because the storylines are very mature. They were all written by adults. A lot of it's pretty sexual in the comics and stuff. There's a lot of crazy shit that goes on. But you still have to kind of pander to a younger audience.
But DC's not doing that.
Yes, they are.
Not nearly as much.
Well,
So
How many kids went and saw Robert Pattinson Batman in theaters like, I loved that?
no, I don't know that many adults said that, but that's okay.
my biggest frustration with DC is they have material that, like, how have you not done the Killing Joke yet? That could
Right.
be a standalone movie.
Well, what
There's so much
they
great
veered-
material
right,
that they,
what-
that they haven't even
right.
tapped in yet.
the problem is that they veered away. They kind of did that with Christian Bale's Batman. That follows that kind of Dark Knight comic book series. It follows that character. That is that character. And then they kind of veered away from doing that, and they were like, well, we got to have one that spans the entire universe.
What if we're not giving them enough credit where they saw Marvel was in this big streak and they were just treading water? Now they've seen that Marvel's load is gone and done and dry.
Dude,
And now DC's like,
I don't know
Here
where
you
you
go.
get that.
what do you mean?
I agree that Marvel's current
They don't want to compete
yeah,
What do you mean?
because half those ticket sales were going to them. And then if DC was trying to do an arms race, I mean, you can't see both movies at the same time if you're going to the theater.
I
So
just
like,
don't
all right,
know,
we're
like,
going to leave a little bread trail. And then when Marvel's done, here you go.
I don't know. I don't think Marvel is, dude. I think,
Marvel's done.
dude, if you watch it, I think what they've done, they got a little. We'll see what happened. Like I said, didn't go to the theater and watch Ant-Man. I wait for him to come to home because I'm not trying to watch him while there's 100 screaming children watching it. I want to just be in my own environment. So I'll get to watch it soon and we'll see how it is. I think that a lot of people just they're impatient. Like you get impatient and you want more too fast.
No, I think I made the point prior that I enjoy the pace of DC where don't give me too much at once. Just let me pout this.
But
and I'll
DC,
take that.
it's not what DC does. DC has to throw it all at you in 1 to 2 movies because
Okay.
that's all they've got in their pocket is 1, 2, 3 movies, and they have to throw. That's why, and that's why Justice League fucking sucks.
So you could say that DC's
They had to throw all of those movies in at one time.
their pace.
That's why they lost
Or
it.
I enjoy the movie because there's so much going on where there's no time to fuck around and joke around. We got to fit a lot in this, so get ready. Here we go.
Again, I think that is true for you because the big problem with Batman v Superman and Justice League is they threw all this shit in 7 hours, and you didn't have to do any research. You just saw it all at once. Whereas me and Corey, that's too much. That's way too much at once. They should have broken it down.
Oh, good God.
Released it every 6 months. It would have been better.
To get to Justice League should have taken them almost a decade, just like Marvel. It took
I'm glad that
nearly
we're already there.
a decade to get to Avengers. You had to do character work. You had to learn who these characters are.
I think they did explain who they are, and they didn't have to completely wear you down to get you to understand, do you know who this person is yet? No, I know who Wonder Woman is.
The opening scene to what's the Suicide Squad. That is DC in a nutshell. They literally went from prisoner to prisoner and gave you a song,
Made me want to puke.
30 seconds of a song, and then they're
Just hang on.
and then boom.
You know what's crazy? Is it literally as soon as he started talking about that opening scene, I almost puked. That's the shit that's why I don't like DC is because they do shit like that.
Yes, those are DC's worst movies.
That's what they got though.
But I'm not.
That's what Justice League was.
But I'm not sitting here trying to make the comparison between all right, Love and Thunder and
like I said,
Batman vs. Superman, that's not two fair comparisons.
You keep referencing very specific movies in Marvel that I think are unanimously voted as Marvel's worst movies. But like all the other ones that we've talked about, you like them. You like them.
You're saying all the other ones.
And I am still making the argument that, dude, you're going to like Kang the Conqueror. That's your jam. Infinite iterations of the same fucking character. Be real simple for you to fucking keep track of. It's the same fucking guy. Multiple iterations of the exact same dude.
I think the X-Men movies were better than this Avengers.
Jesus Christ.
I'll throw that one. I'll throw that Hail Mary up there.
So there you go. You're a Sony fan.
Yeah.
You're not a Disney fan.
God,
I just think they're better movies. Yep.
God.
They're better than the Avengers. There you go.
You're a dullard.
Give me all the X-Men movies before I watch the Avengers.
No, I like X-Men Apocalypse.
Oh, that's great.
I hate that fucking movie.
What? I love that.
Yeah, I like X-Men Apocalypse, and I like X-Men
Four Horsemen,
Dark Phoenix. I think it's great. Yeah. Oscar Isaac did a great job as
love
Apocalypse.
I'd rather watch all the X-Men before I sit down and watch all the Avengers.
You're a Sony fan.
I like comic book movies. I'm biased. I mean, I just go back to, there's a few DC movies that are just trash.
So if you had to sit down and watch a collection of one or the other, would you rather watch
Marvel? Because there's way more. There's way more, and I can sit there and I can watch the story and I can watch it unfold. And it doesn't matter which one I pick, it's in that same storyline.
You can't tell me that Hugh Jackman's Wolverine standalone movie is better than any Marvel movie. I'll give you Love and Thunder.
That's the problem. It's a standalone.
It's got...
And technically is a Marvel movie now.
You said X-Men movies. That is an X-Men movie.
So you're asking would I rather sit down... You said that one movie. That one standalone Wolverine.
Yeah, you said you would watch all the X-Men ones before you would watch...
No, I meant like all of them, not just any of them. I'd rather watch all the X-Men movies in a row.
That's one of them.
Compared, yes, if that was
I'm still surprised that Captain America First Avenger is not your favorite movie.
No. I'd rather watch all the X-Men in a row compared to all
old
the
Germany,
Avengers in a row.
I feel like that's where you'd be. Like, you'd love that movie.
No.
Or is that why you hate it, is because they lose?
No comment, right?
Fuck. So there you go. I'll throw that one out there. I'd rather like the X-Men way better.
I feel like you'd like Loki. I really do. I think that'd be...
I'm not going to watch Loki.
Oh.
I'm not going to do it.
He kisses the girl version of himself. That's all you want.
No. See, I think it'd be great if...
He would love to meet Skylar Piper,
Marvel,
the girl version, and you'd make out with her so hard.
Marvel completely closes the curtain on the Avengers, all these superheroes.
They didn't...
No. I'm telling you what I think their next move could and should be.
Well, because you stopped watching, so you don't know what's going on. Otherwise, like I said, you would be sitting there going, they're definitely bringing back every fucking one of your favorite characters. If you don't think they're gonna...
There's people out
Marvel
there that
loves
think
money grabs.
that they've shot their load and that they could go anywhere from here. Like Eternals. That was on the list of top 10 worst Marvel movies, but I actually enjoyed it because it's a new storyline. I enjoyed the portrayals in it. I mean, I think they could do an Eternals thing now, and I'd probably be okay watching it.
Another Eternals movie?
Well, is there an Eternals universe? I'm not familiar with that comic.
Okay. They're in the universe.
All of these Marvel characters are all in the same universe.
Okay, well, just don't acknowledge the other ones. Just do the Eternals.
What do you mean?
He wants just Eternals standalone.
Just Eternals.
He wants that.
They just did. They just gave you an Eternal standalone.
They keep going.
With just the galaxy.
They are going to.
Okay.
There's going to be
I don't
more.
keep up on the hot news of what Marvel's doing.
Well, that's what I mean. That's your fucking problem.
Because there's so many of it. With DC, it's so simple as that you got these four, and we're just going to move
You
this
keep
along.
acting like they dump 6 movies on your lap at one time because
We just
they
admitted that they
fucking
do.
don't. No,
Every
they don't.
3 months, here's a TV show, here's a
Okay.
movie.
How can you? Okay, that's not dumping 6 on your lap at one time. They give you moments even in between. There's nothing to watch right now.
Ant-Man.
They haven't released Ant-Man yet. Everybody's sitting there watching it. The
Like, I'm
last
so
thing,
far behind. Like,
the last thing that we watched was what? She-Hulk was the last new.
Ant-Man's out.
No, not on Disney Plus.
Wow.
I'm talking about like how they've like how they've released them. The
Can't
last thing
watch
that like
them.
if you wanted to sit at home and watch something, the last thing that I'm pretty sure the last thing that they released was right She-Hulk.
I think so. That was dog shit. I didn't like it.
that's what I'm saying. I'm not behind on DC. Like, I'm caught up. I'm good.
There's nothing
I'm
to
just
be
sitting
caught
here
up on.
pleasantly waiting.
There's nothing to
I'm
be
pleasantly
caught
waiting.
up
Can't figure
on.
out who to put in as Superman.
They can't, dude. There's nothing to be caught up on.
That's my point. Like, I don't have to. I can rewatch these and just
Right.
be really
ready
for the next one. I don't have to watch
there's nothing
all
to be
these
ready for.
these Lokis and
There's nothing to be
She-Hulks
ready
and
for.
Luke
Have you-
Cage and
hang on. Did you watch the new Batman yet? Did you watch the new Batman with Robert Pattinson?
yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, I mean,
What do you want me to do?
you like it?
Yeah, I thought it was great. I didn't hate it by any means. I thought it was good.
Did you watch it with a flashlight? Because it was so fucking dark.
Again, that's
Turn
what I
up the
want.
brightness on the
and
TV?
so that's what I want, and I was pleasantly, happily surprised. And
I feel like you just don't
It's like,
want to watch.
thanks.
So you don't. I don't feel like you even like comic book movies.
what do you mean? What do I want?
You
What
want
do I like?
You want serial killer action movies. That's not a comic book movie. I'm not understanding what you want because the only movies that you like are the ones where like
There's Dick.
there's either dick or people getting their throats cut open and heads blown off and shit.
Because Batman vs Superman does not talk about that at all.
Well, right, but that's one movie of the new ones that you name, but all the other things that you talk about that you like about you like I loved this new movie. It sucked. It's a serial killer movie.
Well, what do you expect? Batman is a vigilante. He's not really a superhero.
Vigilante. Is that
So,
different from a
what-
vigilante?
Yeah, auntie.
It's you good.
So what's the? I mean, what do you expect him to do? I mean, he's not going to go out there and use any superpowers. He's going to cut throats because that's how he's going to kill people.
He doesn't kill people.
But that's what I'm saying. That's how he would.
That's Batman's downfall. There's another debate on if Batman is really good or not, because a lot of these people he captures end up getting out and killing more people. So if he would have killed them to begin with, wouldn't have been.
Well, that's why Ben Affleck brands them all, because he knows once they get into prison that they're going to get killed.
I don't know if that's how that works, but good one.
What do you mean? They made that clear,
I
and
think that was the point of it.
they made that yes.
Anyway, hey, listen.
Because when they're dragging
Listen,
that
hey,
guy,
hey.
he's like, "I'm Brandon. You know what they're going to do to me
I'm
once
gonna
they
be
get in
I'm
here."
gonna be
And then he
honest
gets
with you.
"Ka."
Be honest with you. I think you don't like comic book movies, really? Like the real comic book movies you like. You don't like them. Because they're too funny. You don't like funny. You don't like funny. That's not what you want. You want...
If you think about what's
No.
going on, like, it's not really a joking matter
What do you mean?
as far as what's going on. And
It's a comic. So
there's a
yes,
guy that's about to kill
I think-
half of the universe.
Have you
But
ever
what do you
read
wanna have
any-
for lunch
Have you
today?
ever read any of these comics?
No, I don't read.
Well, you know there's jokes in them. You know that they're funny because they were supposed to be for kids. Dummy.
You got to think about what's going on in the situation. If you and I,
It's
and
not.
Thanos is out there about ready to
Oh,
snap his
wow.
fingers, and
Your
one of
problem
us or
is
both
that
of us
You want everything to be too real for you, I think.
got to put it into perspective.
Man, listen. Marvel wins, hands down.
No.
There's no argument for DC. They don't have an expanded universe.
You might win by default because you've thrown such a wide net out there. Like, yeah, we got lots of numbers, but they aren't good numbers.
They're good numbers. They're the most popular thing on fucking TV, dude.
Congratulations, you got a bunch of 6-year-olds to vote for Marvel.
Hey, what do you mean by numbers? Are you talking like box office numbers?
No.
Because
Like
They hold
Avengers owns all
numbers,
they,
of,
oh, they,
numbers,
they own all of the fucking box office
numbers of
movies.
fans. So that's why I said like
that's debatable because
across
to
the
be honest,
across the world there
to
isn't
be
a more
honest,
popular
It's
thing.
going to be hard to find. Batman
Dude,
to me is the most popular superhero of all time. So you can't go numbers.
yeah, because
So you take the most popular superhero movie of all time, or superhero character, Batman. He should always have the greatest, but he doesn't in the box office because the movies aren't.
They always suck.
because now you have all these kids 12 and under. Congratulations. Everyone who's 12 and under is going to be a huge Marvel fan. They're not going to give a shit about Batman.
Again,
So that's why I said, you got the numbers, but congratulations. You got a bunch of prepubescent kids as half of your demographic, and there you go.
Okay.
If you want to count them, which you are, fantastic. But
Okay.
they're not like super knowledgeable about, good writing and good storyline. Like, oh, fuck, that was kind of funny. He talked about, oh, wow, those are bright colors. Holy shit. Mom, can I go see it again with my friends? There you go.
Wow.
So congratulations. I guess he got them.
You really sound like a really upset Marvel fan that was let down and that just wants the story to go back to the way it was 10
here
years
you
ago.
go. Google did a Google search for the most popular superhero characters. Number 1 is Spider-Man. Number 2 is Batman. Number 3 is Superman. Number 4, Black Adam. So right there.
Yeah.
You have 3 out of the top 4 most popular
Of all,
characters.
what of all,
As of 2023, Google, going by Google's
it's like that's
search.
skewed, but
So how the
That's
hell?
less than
How the hell does DC
we're only
not?
4 months into
And
2023.
you argue about all these, like it's got
Only
good
4 months into
writing and
2023.
stuff.
Again,
If you bring
the most current
of this year,
of 2023, the most current. Those are your top 4.
I mean, it's
Number
only
5
April.
is
Yeah.
Iron Man.
Listen, man, you like Marvel. That's good.
Out of
There's
the
no-
top 10, 8 out of the top 10 are DC comic characters.
I mean, I don't know what people
So
want.
how the hell is DC not putting up big numbers when 8 out of the top 10 are DC characters? You can't tell me that DC
The DC,
has not dropped
trust
the
me,
ball.
if you
according
if
to
you-
that, they haven't. I guess if that's the
DC
argument.
Well, they
entertain-
have because nobody goes and sees this shit.
the DC comic book writers have done a great job at setting up the best source material because that's just like he said, the movies are dog shit. Dog shit. They all of them underperform in the box office. They're all fucking terrible. They're all terrible.
Well, I think that's because people who aren't full DC fans, they walk in like, wow, that was not a Marvel movie. I'm disappointed. Well, no fucking shit. It's
Right.
day and night. So that's why I think they flop in the box office because, like, yeah, I enjoyed it more when I was laughing and it wasn't so dark.
I don't
and-
want to watch a serial killer movie.
Well, that's why I think people need to have more realistic expectations walking into these movies. Where I didn't go into the Robert Pattinson Bat movie like, God, I hope there's like 3 laughs in it.
I think
No, there
you're-
wasn't.
I think you're about to see DC just scrapped everything, and they're about to do the exact same carbon copy of Marvel, except they're going to start halfway through right where you hated what happened the most.
And they very well could.
They're going
and
to.
I'll be very upset about it.
Well, go back. You have
I'm
to go
hoping-
watch fucking John Wick 4. Like any fucking new storyline.
I've
Jesus Christ.
I've heard good
God
stuff about
forbid
John
we
Wick
have a
4.
goddamn story.
There is a story.
Well, there's not. That's the thing. Is that
What are you
with
talking
DC,
about?
it's
I
just
love
this.
it.
No, that's what I keep arguing is that DC is just a repeat of the exact same story.
John Wick.
Over
Super simple
and
storyline.
over. Right.
There's not much to think about. You just watch them. Bang, 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 bang. Done.
Well,
Done.
for dullards,
You don't got to make it overcomplicated.
it's for dullards.
No. It's for nerds like you.
What Marvel is for nerds?
Oh, God,
Is that what
yeah.
you're saying?
Yeah.
Well, okay.
God, I need new Loki.
I don't sit around. I mean, they could release them faster. I say fuck the I say fuck the theater. I mean, they could definitely. I could sit. Yeah. I mean, what? I mean, I say the same thing for Star Wars. They could just keep making more and more, and I would just sit there and I'd just keep watching the new episodes.
Jesus Christ.
You know, Mandalorian's great. They're doing a great job.
That'd be like your entire life. Every day of the year, if they release something new for Marvel, something new for Star Wars, you just come home, ding, bang.
I don't know that
dinner,
it would be every
done.
single day. I don't know that it would happen like that, but I mean, I'd keep up on it. I tried to.
You wouldn't be upset about that.
No, I wouldn't. Why would I?
Oh,
I
good
understand.
Lord.
I'm a Marvel fan. Why would I be upset about more material coming out?
That you have to watch it every single day just to keep up. That sounds
I don't
fucking
know.
awful.
This is coming from the guy who like ritualistically does the exact same thing every day.
Yeah, but if I skip a day, I'm not missing
I
anything.
mean, you remind me of the guy that I evicted yesterday.
How'd that go?
Oh, let's switch in. Hey, we've learned enough about comic books, right? We've figured out DC fucking blows dick. And, well, not enough dick. That's the problem for Skylar, is that there's just not enough dick. There's not enough blood, violence, and dick. Okay? That's what we've learned. That's what you want. Maybe if Christian Bale would have, or if they wouldn't have blurred out fucking Thor and they'd have fucking just flopped his big old dick out there, you'd have loved it.
Russell
You'd been
Crowe-
like, God damn, this is the fucking best movie I've ever seen in my life.
If Russell Crowe would have put his big old thigh slap right there on the
Right.
table and
You'd
said,
have fucking-
no more.
Right.
No more.
You'd have loved it.